What's going on, guys? John Alder here from Codemy.com, and in this video, we're going to build a Feed Aspen game for Pygame and Python. Alright guys, like I said, in this video, we're going to build this Feed Aspen game. But before we get started, if you like this video, want to see more like it, be sure to smash the like button below, subscribe to the channel, give me a thumbs up for the YouTube algorithm, and check out Codemy.com, where I have dozens of courses with thousands of videos that teach you to code. Use coupon code YouTube50 to get 50% off lifetime memberships to all my courses, videos, and books for a one-time fee, which is insanely cheap. All right, moving right along in this Pygame series. In this video, we're going to put everything we've learned in the last few videos together and build this Feed Aspen game. Some of you guys that have been on the channel for a while remember my dog Aspen. She's a crazy hurricane of a husky, and I've used her little face right here. And basically, let me start this thing over again. We can move around and try to eat the food, and when we do, our score increases. If we miss it, we lose a life. Now, this is very slow. Eventually, we'll speed this up as the time goes on, so it makes it harder to play. We'll add some sound effects and all kinds of other things. But for now, in this video, we just want to set up this basic sort of structure here, get our images up, get our apps set up, get our text on here and all that good stuff, and set up the basic game function. So let's head over to our code. I'm using the Sublime Text Editor and Git Bash terminal as always. And as always, you can find a link to the code in the pinned comment section below, as well as a link to the playlist with all the other videos in this Pygame series. So check that out if you haven't so far. So I've got this file, I'm calling it aspen.py, and this is our basic starter code. We've been using this same code for a long time in this series, so this should seem familiar. I've imported random. The rest of these things are just sort of basic height and width things that we've already discussed in other videos. So the first thing I'm gonna do is come down here and let's create variables to keep track of score and lives. And I'm gonna call one score and set that equal to 0. And I'm going to create another one called lives and set that equal to 5. So we start the game with 5 lives and 0 score. So, okay, that makes sense. Now let's come down here and start to map out our app. So at the top, we want some text. We want to keep track of the score. We want the title of the game, and we want to keep track of our lives. So we basically need 3 things. When the game ends, we want to flash up a thing that says game over. So that's basically 4 things of text that we want. So I'm going to call the first one title_font, and this is going to be a pygame.font, and we want to use our system's font. We looked at how to use this several videos ago. Check the playlist if you didn't see that, and I'm just going to use this impact font. We've used this before, and I want this to be size 40. So like I said, we need like 4 of these things, so let's go also a score font, a lives font, and let's say a game over font. And these don't all have to be the same. The score and the lives, we want it to be slightly smaller text, so I'll put that at 25. The game over text, we want it to be real big, so I'll put that at 75. So, okay, that looks good. Now we want to render this text as a surface text. Again, we did a video on fonts and text and stuff several videos ago. Check the playlist. I'm going to call this one title_text. And set that equal to title_font, which is this thing up here we just defined, dot render. And I want this to say feed Aspen, woohoo, right? And this is going to be true. And let's give this a color of, I'm going to use the hex color codes this time. I'm going to go 3D5F9F. That's sort of a bluish color. And we want the background to be silver because our screen is going to be silver. We've already defined that somewhere in here. Yeah, pick the screen color silver. This is just our default stuff that we always use. We've been doing a silver screen for quite some time here. All right, so that looks good. And again, we need 4 of these. So 2, 3, 4. And this one I'll call score text. This one I'll call lives text. And this one will be game_over text. So likewise, this will be score_font and lives_font and game_over font. And all of these things aren't going to say feed Aspen. We want the score to say, obviously, score. And then the lives to say lives. And then the game over to say game over. Now, we want to kind of update these in the future with whatever the current score and lives is. So I'm going to turn these into F strings. So we just put little brackets inside of here and slap an F before it. There we go. And inside of here, we'll pass that score variable. And down here, we'll pass the lives variable. And remember, those are just these guys up here that we created at the beginning of the file here. So, okay, that looks good. Let's get our text rect. So let's get, say, text rect. So I'm going to call this one title underscore text underscore rect. And this will be title underscore text dot get underscore rect. And let me just kind of copy these again 4 times. This one's going to be score. This one's going to be lives. And this one's going to be game underscore over. And again, we update these. Bear with me. I know this is kind of boring. We're just going to have to sort of go through all of this for the first 15, 20 minutes of this video. So this one's going to be game over. We're almost done. There we go. So finally, now we want to position this text. So let's go title underscore text underscore rect. And let's put the first one at dot center. And here, let's put this at the window underscore width divided by 2. And let's have it down like 30 or so. That looks good. And then here we need the score underscore text. Uh-oh, this is wrong. Underscore, there we go, rect. Dot center. Okay, score underscore text underscore rect. Dot, let's put this one in the top left. And let's set that equal to 10 and 5. And then let's go lives underscore text underscore rect. Dot, let's again go top left and set this equal to, let me put this down 5. We want to put it over like the window underscore width minus the width of the text itself. And we can get that programmatically just by calling lives underscore text dot get underscore width. And that's a function. And then I want to subtract 10 from that. And finally, we also want the game underscore over underscore text underscore rect. And let's just put that at the center. And let's put that at the window underscore width divided by 2. And the window underscore height divided by 2. So that should put it right in the center of the screen. So, okay. Now, before we move on to images and stuff, let's come down here and put our text onto the screen just to make sure we didn't get any errors here, because we probably did. I typed a whole bunch of stuff there. Let's go screen.blit, and we want to put our title underscore text and our title underscore text underscore rect. And again, let's go screen dot, well, you know what? Let's just copy this 2 more times. Now, not 3, because we only want the game over to pop up under certain circumstances. So we'll get to that in a second. This one is going to be score underscore text and score underscore text. This one is going to be lives underscore text and lives underscore text. All right, so let's go ahead and save that and run it just to see if we're on the right track here. So I'm in my C/games directory. Got my virtual environment turned on. Let's run python aspen.py. And we get an error, of course. Silver is not defined. That needs to be in quotation marks. That's line 27, it looks like. So let's see. Let's come up to line 27. And sure enough, these all need to be in quotation marks. This is why we run these things, to see what stupid errors we've made. I make lots of errors. All right, so let's go back over here, run this guy again. Oh, we got another one. Live underscore text is not defined, line 35. All right, well, lives. There we go. Typo. Another one. Whew. Still line 35. What do we got here? What do we do? Oh, it is lives, but this is lives. Doy. We got a lot of code to get through, and my brain is all over the place this morning. All right, another one. Girt width. Wow. All right, what line is this? Line 41. Line 40. Yep, sure enough, that is not how you spell get. All right, surely that's the last one. Yes, it is. So we've got our score up here. It says feed Aspen in the middle, and our lives. Nice little blue color. All right, we are good to go there. So now let's quickly run a line underneath this. Just draw a quick line. That's super simple. So let's come here into our loop, our while loop. And let's come down here where it says draw a line. And let's just go pygame dot draw dot line. Try not to have any typos. We want to put this on our screen. And we want the color to be that same 3D 5F 9F color. That's that sort of bluish color. And I want this to be at 0 and 60. And then stretch over to 800 by 60. And let's make this line 2. So this is 800 because up here, the width of our thing, we could have used window width here. We probably should. Either one, you could, do it like that too. Okay, so let's save this and run it real quick. Make sure that looks okay. Okay, so we've got a nice line across there and everything looks good. So pull up a file explorer here. I've created an images directory in our games directory here, and I uploaded a few things here. So this is just a couple of pictures of Aspen. I wasn't sure which one I wanted to use. I think the one with the open mouth is better because Aspen's trying to eat. And we got a couple of little food dishes here. So Aspen 2 and Food 2. You can get these images on my GitHub, download them there, or use any image you want. Really doesn't matter at all. But we're going to use these two guys right here. So let's add these. So let's load our images. So I'm going to call one Aspen and I'm going to call the other one Food because, I don't have a lot of creativity. So this is going to be pygame.image.load. And here, we want to point this to our images directory, and this is, again, aspen2.png. And here we can go, again, pygame.image.load. And again, we want this in our images directory, and this is going to be food2.png. Now, we can call images because this images directory is in the same directory that our aspen.py file is in. Otherwise, we would have to be like, C... something / whatever. We don't have to be that explicit since these things are all in the same place. So, okay, that looks good. Now we need to create recs for these guys. So let's go aspen_rect. And this is going to be aspen.get_rect. It seems bad to tell Aspen to get rect. I don't know why. That just seems, that seems horrible to me. So, anyway, food_rect equals food.getRect. And now let's position our images. To start this off, let's go aspen_rect, and let's just put her in the center of the screen here. And I just want to put it over 60, and then let's just go window_height divided by 2, put it right in the middle of the screen to start out with. And our food, this is a little bit interesting. Let's go food_rect.x. To start out, let's go window_width -100. We're going to probably change this. When we start out, we want it probably off the screen, but just to start out, I want it on the screen. So I'm moving it over 100 just so we can see that we've got it right. Like I said, we might change that. So let's go food_rect.y. And here we want this to show up random spots every time the game starts. So let's go random.randint. We talked about this in the last video. And we'll start out at 65. Let's go window_height minus, and let's get the height of the actual image itself. So we could do that by calling food.get_height. And that should work good for now. So, okay, that looks good. Now, let's come down here and blit our images onto the screen. So let's go screen.blit. And let's put Aspen and the Aspen_rect. And let's go screen.blit. And let's go food and food_rect. All right, so let's save this and run it, see how that turned out. We've got a problem here. That is line 54. That obviously needs an equal to sign. There we go. There we go. I keep wanting to do that almost always. I don't know why. So, okay, now we see Aspen is right here and the food is down here. If we run this guy again, now the food is up here. So every time it's positioning it somewhere different up and down on that axis, right? And Aspen is just right here and looking good. So, okay, the first thing now we want to do is move Aspen. And we don't want Aspen to move left and right. We just want her to be able to move up and down. So these things are going to be spinning across the screen, and we want to go up and down to try and eat them as they go. So we already know how to do this. Let's come down here and move Aspen. So we've already got our keys equal pygame.keys.get_pressed. And to move Aspen, we just go if keys, and then let's go pygame dot k underscore up and aspen underscore rect dot y is greater than, let's say 70. And then if that's the case, we want to go aspen underscore rect dot y. We want to go minus equal 300 times our dt. And then let's go if keys, and let's go pygame dot k underscore down and aspen underscore rect dot y is less than, let's go window underscore height minus, and let's go aspen dot get underscore height. And then we want to subtract 5 from that just because I want a little bit of a buffer there. Okay, and if that's the case, then let's go aspen, and I misspelled aspen right here. All the typos today. Aspen underscore rect dot y, and here we want to go plus equal 300 times dt. Okay, so that looks good. Let's go ahead and save this and test it. See how I messed that one up. All right, so now we can go up and down, and you'll notice there's a little bit of a buffer here and a little bit of a buffer here, and that's how we coded that in there, so I like that. And okay, now I'm going through all of this stuff very quickly. I'm not really explaining all of these things because we've done this in past videos. If you don't really understand what I'm doing here, check the playlist, watch those past videos. This should be old hat by now. So now let's move the food, I think, right? We could do that by going if food underscore rect dot x is less than 0, then, well, if this is the case, the food has gone past aspen, right? So let's say aspen missed the food. So when that happens, let's minus equal 1. We lose a life if the food goes past us. So let's just kind of keep track of that. And let's also go lives underscore text, update the lives up at the top of the screen. So let's go lives underscore font, and we can just render this again. In fact, I'm just going to come up here to where we rendered it earlier, and let's just copy all of this, and let's just paste all that in. That will update that or re-render it with the updated lives, because here we're subtracting a life, and then here it gets updated, right? So let's say lose a life. And here, let's say update lives on screen, whatever. Okay, so now we just need to change the food underscore rect dot y. Again, let's come up here to where we defined it with that randomness. And let's just copy all of this. And actually, I'm just going to paste it all back in. And that'll just sort of reset it back to where it was, right? So, okay, that looks good. So that's if the food passed aspen, right? Else, if the food did not pass aspen, let's say move the food to the left, to the left, to the left. And here we could just call food underscore rect dot x, and then let's just minus equal, say 5. So that will move it over 5. And it'll keep moving it over 5 until it's less than 0, in which case all this stuff happens. So, okay, let's go ahead and save this and run it and see how that worked. And there we go. So you can see it just passes through, and when it does, oh, we've got an error there. Something's going wrong. This should be putting it off the screen. And wow, look at these lives. They are really, we're dying a lot. So, all right, what did we do here wrong? Oh, we got food rect y. We also need our food underscore rect dot x. Obviously, just missed that completely. And again, we want to put this off the screen. So this is going to be window underscore width, and then let's go plus 100. So when we started the game, remember we put it at minus 100. I just did that to show you the thing on the screen. But so let's change this to 100, because when the game starts, we want it to start off the screen so you don't know where it's coming from, right? So same thing down here. We want the x rect to be the window width plus 100, so it's off the side of the screen, right? So, okay, let's go ahead and save this and run it. That should work better now. And sure enough, there we go. And when we do, it, comes back around. Now it's down here. Nothing is happening. Now it's up here. Even when we go like this, because we haven't done any sort of collision detection yet, we'll do that in just a second. And as it keeps going through, you'll see now we're down to lives -1. So we need to do some logic to make sure the game ends when we run out of lives. So before we do the collisions, let's do that real quick. And here, let's just see to check if we're out of lives. So let's go if lives equals 0. Well, then the game is over. So let's go screen.blit. And now we're going to blit our game _over_text and our game _over_text_rect. And then we want the food to stop moving, right? So let's put game over text. And here, let's say stop the food from moving again. And here we could just go food _rect.x, set that equal to say 0. And let's go food _rect.y. And I don't know, just get it off the screen. I don't know, 10,000. I don't know, something like that. So here, let's run this guy. And here we go. 4, 3, 2. And even when it goes past, there's no collision detection just yet. All right, so live 0, game over. The food stops moving. Now Aspen can still move. We can maybe change that or whatever. Okay, so now let's do some collision detection. Super easy. We learned how to do this maybe in the last video in the playlist. Let's come down here and check for collisions. So let's go if Aspen _rect.collide rect. And we want to see if the Aspen rect has collided with the food _rect. Then we want to do something. First, we want to increase the score. If they collide, that means you've eaten the food, and so your score should go up. So let's go score plus equals 1. Now let's also update score text. And again, we could just come up here to where we rendered the score. And we could just copy this whole thing, bring it back down here, and paste that in. So that will update or re-render that text. And then we just want to, again, move our food, right? So let's just grab these two things. And we're not like deleting anything. We're just moving it back off the screen and it starts over again, right? It's still moving. And that looks good. So let's go ahead and save this, run it, see how that looks. So here we go. Boom, our score went up. Our lives are at 5. Score is at 2. Now if we miss it, score doesn't change. Lives drop. Here we have 3. All right, looking pretty good. So relatively quickly, we've got, the beginnings of a decent little stupid game. I mean, this is not a very sophisticated game, but it's kind of. Now, obviously, we're going to want this food to, like, every time we eat it, maybe it comes out a little faster. We can play with that. We'll do that probably in the next video. We want to add sound effects. And when this thing ends, we want to be able to restart it and play it again without clicking the X and making it all go away. I think this is looking pretty good. And that's really all there is to it. So lots of typos in this one, but I was trying to run through all this code very quickly because this is a long video today. And so, of course, I did lots of typos, but we got them all sorted out. And that's really all there is to it. So that's all for this video. If you liked, be sure to smash the like button below, subscribe to the channel, give me a thumbs up for the YouTube algorithm, and check out Codemy.com where you can use coupon code YouTube50 to get 50% off lifetime membership. So that's access to all my courses, over 60 courses, thousands of videos, and the PDFs of all my best-selling coding books. Join over 180,000 students learning to code just like you. My name is John Elder from Codemy.com, and I'll see you in the next video.